Hey, Keith Eneix here. Today, I want to talk with you about how to scale your landscaping business. I've been in the landscaping industry for, almost my whole life because our family came from the landscaping industry, and then I started a marketing agency to help landscaping businesses grow. Through those years, I've learned a thing or two about how to scale your business, and I want to share those with you. So let's start from your landscaping business being at zero and go all the way to $1 million. And what are some of the things you should have in place to make sure that your business is going to be healthy and successful? So let's start off at the 0 to 10,000 per month mark. So first off, you need to remember that there are some pillars that you need to manage in your business. The first pillar is finance. The second one is production. And the last ones are sales and marketing. You can just kind of combine those together as we talk about those today. So the first one is finance. You're going to be right at the beginning. You're going to be doing everything. So don't expect to necessarily outsource everything right at first. But go ahead and just keep things simple, and you're going to be doing everything. You need to just get some jobs, and you need to go out and get some jobs done, and start the process of getting those reps in place for yourself. One of the worst things you can do in a business is think that you need to go get yourself a website right off the bat, or you need to somehow go get a bookkeeper right off the bat. You don't need all that stuff. All you need to do is get out there and work and start doing those reps. As you start doing those reps and you get better at it, you can start doing some other things. As you get closer to the $10,000 a month mark, you should hire around yourself. What does that look like? On the finance side, go find yourself a good bookkeeper that's going to help you out in your business. On the production side, it's still all on you. I can remember growing up just seeing our family every single day. I saw my dad working in production. Everything rested on him, trying to answer phone calls while installing all the landscaping needed on people's yards to transform their yards. So right now, it's all on you. You're going to have to do everything. Sales and marketing, create a bid sheet for yourself. This is something that a lot of people don't realize is super simple to do. You just go to YouTube or you go to Google and you just look at landscaping bid sheets. You can find some templates out there, then you can just customize it to the cost for your specific area. And then you can quickly bid people's needs, sometimes over the phone. If they're just doing some simple landscaping work like mow and blow type work, then you can go ahead and do that. The other thing you can do is join a networking group. Networking groups are so powerful. And when you're first starting, they're not necessarily the best later on, but when you're first starting, they're amazing. Get them to help you build your business and refer. So you're not necessarily hiring them from the standpoint of they're your employee, but you are kind of hiring them to work for you and doing referrals for you. And they do actually have some really good insights into how to grow your business. So I would definitely join a networking group. Great thing about being in landscaping is everybody's got a lawn, everybody has needs. So it's very, very likely that they'll refer work that they need for themselves. And then when you do a good job, they'll go ahead and refer the work out after that. You're going to have to be bidding at nights and Saturdays in this phase. So you'll do the work and then you'll go out and you'll bid. And you're probably going to be answering that phone while you're on the job. So try to get that phone answered as much as possible. It doesn't matter what kind of lead systems you have in place. If you don't answer that phone, people are going to just move on to the next person. And it's very unlikely you're going to get that job. Rule of thumb is you should call them back within 5 minutes after they've called. So make sure you're doing that. You can build a website as you get closer to that $10,000 mark. That's going to be fine. Build yourself a website. You've got some reps underneath of you. Build out a single channel that you can do well on. That networking group is a good place to start, but you can start building into Google SEO and also paid search at this point. And I cannot stress how important this is at the very beginning, that you build yourself a review campaign and get reviews nowhere else but Google to start. That's going to affect all your rankings. That's going to make your business a lot healthier in the local area. It's also going to help your conversion rate when people see your business and see that you have a ton of good reviews out there for your business. All right, so that's about $0 to $10,000 and what you can do on each of those pillars. Let's look at $10,000 to $30,000 a month. On the finance side, I want you to start understanding what that P&L is that your bookkeeper is managing. That's your profit and loss statement. I've talked to guys who are doing $3 million a year and they don't know what a profit and loss. They've heard of profit and loss. They kind of look at a profit and loss sometimes, but they don't really know what the inner details of a profit and loss are. You want to know what your income is, what COGS means, what your gross profit means, what your expenses are, and your net profit. You need to just sit down, read an article on Google, figure out what that means, and ask your bookkeeper about it as well, because you need to start organizing your profit and loss correctly, because eventually when you want to make buku bucks from your business, you can only do that by managing your business from the profit and loss statement that you look at, and then doing cash flow projections. So you're going to probably have monthly meetings with your bookkeeper at this point. One, it's because they need to close your books up once a month, but you need to also meet with them to talk about different line items in your business. There might be some weird stuff, weird expenses. Maybe there's some miscategorizations of stuff that need to be fixed. So just make sure and meet with them about once a month. On the production side, you're hiring probably 1 to 3 people. The rule of thumb is, about every $100,000 that you do a year in revenue, that you're going to hire somebody. So 1 to 3 people. It depends on how much machinery you have. If you're more of a, mow, trim, and blow kind of business, then you're going to have more people and you're going to have less equipment. You're going to have just smaller equipment. So that number might be a little different. But if you're doing large projects where you have machinery, you might have less guys because you've got machinery in place. So like a Traco or a backhoe or whatever you're using to do those larger projects. So you're going to have somewhere between 1 to 3 people. You want them to take over production. I always say people get into business because they are good at production, and that's great, that's fine, but you have to understand that that's the lowest paid job in your company. The highest paid job in your company is actually an operations manager, and then next after that is going to be the sales and marketing. So you're trying to pigeonhole yourself into those roles, first sales and marketing, and then more into the operations, so you can just only focus on operations eventually. So you're going to hire 1 to 3 people, start pigeonholing yourself out into a higher level role in your company, out of production, and you need to create incentivizing compensation plans for your guys. And I would recommend this. I've had a lot of years of compensation plans with different guys, and salary versus hourly. I've had that question asked, and here's the killer. Whenever you provide a salary to your employee, you think, great, I can pay them a certain amount and then they're going to work more for me when I need it. Well, the thing is, and this is a bummer, not everybody's like this, but majority of people are, they think, great, I'm getting a salary, that means I can work less and make more money. I don't like salaries. They're only for specific people. So I always like starting people off with hourly. And when I do a blended compensation plan, I want to do an hourly thing with a bonus incentive based upon the amount of production that they're actually able to accomplish. You're going to base that on how much revenue you want to do. So you have to provide the marketing and sales leads, of course. They have to do the work. And you want your bonus compensation plan to stay in alignment to that. So with the extra free time that you have in the sales and marketing side, you're going to start answering more of those phone calls. You're going to be going out and doing more bidding. You're going to have more time for your family too, because you're not going to be on the job marketing and sales and bidding, all of that. So we want to make sure that you're moving more into that balance between why you got into business versus, the joke is, people leave a W-2 job to get into a business, but they end up putting in 80 hours worth of work to get 40 hours of pay that they used to get on their job. Well, yes, that's going to happen at first, but it's going to pan out long term. You don't want it to be like that all the time. So you need to start leveraging your time to get to a better place. So use that extra free time, phone calls and bids. Make sure and track everything on marketing to see how your channel is performing. That's phone tracking, that's form tracking. That's also Google My Business tracking to see how that's going. You want all of that to be going into a single spot, and you want to be looking at that on a weekly basis to see how you're doing and trending. All right, so now the next level. We're at $30,000 to $84,000 a month, or at that $1 million mark eventually, okay? So that's $1 million per year. Okay, so on the finance side, track your business from your P&L weekly. So before you were doing monthly, you need to look at this thing on a weekly basis to see how things are going. Where are expenses going? You're going to start to have a production manager because you're doing some of that production management still, but you're going to bring up one of your guys into production management, which allows you to be in sales, marketing, and operations, and that's it. So you want to make sure that your P&L is solid, so you know exactly what they're spending on for materials and all that kind of stuff, so that you know if they are overspending for expenses or COGS, or sometimes in some cases, unfortunately, they're stealing from the company, and you just don't know unless you look at that profit and loss and see that's not right, and you can get that taken care of and keep your guys accountable. All right. So meetings every 2 weeks to verify the accuracy of your books with your bookkeeper. That's at a minimum. I like to do once a week. I would love to see once a week where you're verifying the accuracy of those books. You need to have weekly bank reconciliation at least. Daily would be great. So every time anything is spent on a daily basis, automatically it goes into your books and you can see that there's reconciliation there. So I prefer looking at the profit and loss for that versus bank, because you're looking at bank and then you're looking at your profit and loss. Now you're looking in two areas, which one's correct. You need to train yourself to look at your profit and loss. So look at that profit and loss, and then you can spot check your bank account, right? Okay, so production, what does that look like? That was finance side when you're 30 to 84,000 a month. Production side, you need to hire 3 to 7 people. Just depends, again, if you're kind of that mow and blow business versus more project business with maybe bigger machinery. You need to replace yourself in production management, which I had just mentioned actually. So use the proper compensation model for that, because you need to motivate your production lead. You can focus that more weightier on getting jobs done than the hourly. So kind of the rule of thumb is when you're focusing more on that, you can do like a 70-30 or a 60-40 split. You just want to make sure that their bills get at the very basic can be covered just by the hourly. But at the same time, you want to make sure it's a motivation so that they feel when they're on the job, and let's just say it's 3 o'clock and they just finished and they could get another little job done, that they go out and do that other little job because they know that they're going to hit their production numbers for the week and then get that extra compensation for it. So they'll take the crew and get it done, self-manage. So just make sure that that compensation plan is actually motivating to them. All right, focus on operating the business, sales, and marketing while your team does all the work. That's the operations side, that's the sales and marketing. Remember, those are the highest paid positions within your business. Minimum, you want to do weekly stand-ups with your business to help with the operations. That means everybody gets together, you're talking. Eventually, you want to do a couple times a week, and then eventually every single day, where you all get on the phone or you're all standing up, you're looking at each other, and you're saying, all right, what's good? What's bad? What's next? So make sure you're doing that weekly stand-up at least. Know your KPIs. These are your key performance indicators. You can use a Google Sheet. That's what we use, so everybody has access. And make sure all your numbers from your different softwares that are out there or whatever you're using is going into that KPI sheet so everybody can look at it across your production numbers, the main KPIs that you need to track for your business. One of the things that I would say at a very high level is you want to make sure that you're tracking the income that's coming into your business, of course. So that'd be new sales. You're probably getting half down for projects. And so you're getting that half down. That's great. That's cash collected on that. The next one that you really want to make sure is you know the cash collected on done jobs. And then you want to know what your net profit is at the end of the day, that you have those 3 KPIs just constantly on your mind. So manage your business from there's other KPIs you're going to look at. In fact, you're going to have KPIs for every single one of those categories: finance, production, and sales and marketing. But make sure that you keep the big ones, the overall, those are kind of like the overall operating KPIs, I should say, that you want to make sure is good. And then you can drill down into each one of those individual KPIs later. All right, so then the next thing is the sales and marketing side. You're going to probably be still answering the phone. I'd say you might want to hire somebody to answer that phone as you get closer to the $84,000 mark. And when I say might, I mean you should. So at 30,000, you're probably still answering the phone, yes. But as you get closer to that 84,000, I would say 750 to $1 million per year, you're definitely wanting to get somebody to start answering the phone. And once you do, you're going to have to keep them accountable. They're not going to answer the phone like you because they don't have that motivation. So you could put a compensation plan in place that's mostly hourly with a very small amount focused on the performance side, if jobs are landed. But if you're just going to pay them hourly, you're going to have to dog them because they're just putting in hours, and eventually that's going to affect how they answer the phone, and they might get a little lazy on it. So you're just going to have to come back in and manage them on that, unless you can have a compensation plan that'll help them stay accountable, self-accountable plan. All right. So next, you want to make sure you have a CRM and automation in that CRM, client relationship management tool. There's a ton of them out there. We use Go High Level. We've used, there's Jobber that's out there. There's Service Titan that's out there. There's a lot of different CRM automation tools that you can use to get your company. Keep is another one that's out there. And you can use those to organize where your jobs are at, what's going on. And of course, in some of these tools, some are better than others. Some are more all-inclusive, where you can actually track your team, you can track your leads, you can track where your trucks are at, you can track everything. That would be something like Jobber, where some are just focused more on just the sales and marketing side. That would be something more like Go High Level or HubSpot or Keep, those types of things. They're all good, It depends on where you're at in your business and what you want to do to get to the next scale level. Eventually, you're going to want something that tracks everything all in one software instead of having kind of a Frankenstein setup. So, but at least have something in your business by this point. You're going to want to also start optimizing other paid channel opportunities at this point. So you've built a website already. You've got a channel of Google set up with SEO, paid search. You've got reviews going. You want to make sure that you have other paid partner channels like Google Local Services or Angie's and Home Advisor. I didn't mention Yelp because, it's Yelp. But Google Local Services is number uno, and then I say Angie next, and then Home Advisor next, and then at the very end, if you have to, do something like a Yelp. I do tend to like those paid platforms per lead better than the Yelp, where you just pay a certain amount and then whatever leads come in. The way that they track leads and what they consider a lead is really quite poor, and just tend to find that the leads that come off of that are not nearly as good as Google Local Services because it's coming right off of Google. Google's the best leads. And then Angie and Home Advisor next as far as quality. There, of course, are other channels, such as if you're on Google, you can be on Bing. Bing is good, but Google's going to 20x the results that Bing gets for anything. But Bing is good. It's just a little bit older demographic that you're going to be going after on that channel. And it won't have near as many results, of course, on Google. So just some ideas there. But that's the $0 to $1 million a year plan. And if you want to continue to grow your business and scale your business, you can follow some of these things. If you have some questions for me, I'd love to hear them. I would also love to help you grow your business. If you have any questions for us on the marketing and digital marketing side, we'd love to help. So thanks for listening in today, guys. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll talk to you guys later.